Hey guys, Tamari from One with a Pump. Welcome to Pumping on Shabbos. Now, I am fully aware of how stressful pumping is in general. Now let's add pumping on Shabbos where we feel like we aren't able to pump as usual. We aren't able to use the pumps that we want. What do we do with the milk? It can be really, really stressful. So I'm here to break this down for you to let you know how and what you can do on Shabbos. All information in this video is directly from Rabbi Baruch Simon of YU. He stated that while you may watch this video and you can read out the handout, you cannot take this on as your own without calling him first, because Rabbi Simon wants to make sure that you are fully aware and understand and that nothing got misconstrued. So take this information, understand what it is, use the links to buy what you need to buy, and then call Rabbi Simon and confirm that you have the right information, and then you can go business as usual and things can be nice as simple. So let's start with who can pump on Shabbos. Anyone can pump on Shabbos. Whether you are an exclusive pumping mom or a nursing mom, you are able to follow the information that I am about to tell you. Now, if you are ever in pain, if you are ever experiencing discomfort, if you're pumping because your baby needs the milk, you need to pump. But let's go through exactly what are the best and worst case scenarios when it comes to pumping on Shabbos. To start off, I know that back in the days, the manual pump is what we thought we were going to have to use on Shabbos. That was because this has no electricity, right? All you do to get it to work is to go ahead and push this lever. As of right now, the manual pump is not the best solution for Shabbos. Why is that? Because every time that you push this, this is going to be melacha. This is going to be work. So it's actually better to use an electric pump with a timer, which I will show you right now, rather than using this. So I know that you probably thought that this was the best case scenario. It is not. There's plenty of room for this in your life if you want it. The number one and best thing that you can do is use a timer on Shabbos. So you're going to be using a timer to turn on your pump. The best case scenario for what you're doing is that you are going to be setting your pump onto an electric timer. Then you are going to be wearing a pumping bra. So you're going to sit down on your couch, you're going to attach your phalanges, attach everything, make sure everything's ready to go, and you're just going to wait. Even 30 seconds, a minute before. Then the timer is going to make the pump go on its own, and you're just going to sit there. And because you're wearing a pumping bra, that means that you are not doing any work. All you are doing is simply sitting there. So then you can either wait till the timer goes off, which is great, but if you feel like you need to take the pump off, then of course you can take it off early. Otherwise, you sit there before, you attach the parts, wait till the pump goes on, then you wait till the pump goes off, take off your parts, and you're good to go. And because you didn't touch anything to make the pump go on, you are able to use that milk. Basically, you can keep the milk if you are pumping on a timer and had nothing to do with it going on. So you're not holding your parts, you are using a bra. So that is the best case scenario that I want all of you doing, which is pumping with a bra with a timer. Now let me get you deep into the timers, okay? We have two different timers. We have a timer that has trippers, okay? And then we have something called a switch bot. I'm gonna show you both of them. This is the best case scenario that you can find. This pump with trippers with the old Medela pump and style. Now the problem with this is that they do not make it anymore. So you might be able to find it still online somewhere. It's incredibly overpriced because it isn't made anymore. Or you might and probably be able to find someone in your local community, a friend, a gemach that will have this pump. If you have it, take it, keep it until you're done having kids. Once you're done having kids, share it with someone else because this is going to be the best case scenario. What you are going to do is that you're going to make sure the pump is plugged in and the dial is to wherever you're going to want it to be. So it's in the on position. Then you're going to take the plug and you're going to plug it into the side of this timer. You are then going to set the timers with these trippers, so the green is on, the red is off, and you're going to plug this in directly to the wall. What's going to happen is that every time it's going, when it goes to the green, it's going to go into the on position, and then red is going to go into the off position. The reason why this timer is the best is because you're going to set these before Shabbos. But if you miss it, or you feel like you just really need to pump, on Shabbos, you can go ahead, take the green tripper and put it exactly where it needs to go by the next time. So that means that no matter where, no matter what, you can always be pumping because you can set this to go on a minute later. So you aren't going to be in a case where you're like, I just missed that pump, what do I do? So the best case scenario is for you to use a timer like this with this pump. Now, if you can't get this pump, okay, then I want you to get still this timer with the Ardo pump, okay? The Ardo also has a Shabbos mode. So what you're going to do is you're gonna turn it on while it's plugged in. You're gonna set the settings for where they want to be, okay? Wherever it is. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to simply unplug it. Once you unplug it, you are then going to plug it into this timer that you're going to put into the wall. And then whenever it hits the time, this is going to go on its own. Same thing on and off. So the reason why I like the Medela better is because I physically like that pump better, but this is completely fine. And I do want you guys to know that I always had a weekday pump and a Shabbos pump because my preferred pump was not this or the Medela pump and style. My preferred pumps were other pumps, so I would use the other pumps that I liked during the week when I was able to just turn it on as regular. And then on Shabbos, I always had my Shabbos pumps because this is what I wanted to use, because if you use it on a timer, you're able to keep your milk. Sorry. You're able to keep your milk and there's going to be no issues, okay? So that is the best case scenario, okay? The reason why we like a timer like this is because you can move the trip. Now, you're also able to use this timer instead of this. These are essentially the same thing. What these do is that you plug something into it and it turns the outlet on and off. This one works on Wi-Fi. So before Shabbos, you plug this in, you connect to the app and you set the times. If you know that you're always pumping at the same time, you can go ahead and do this. However, I would still say that this is the best case scenario because remember that with this one, if you miss the pump, it doesn't go on, something happens, that is just too bad. But if this one, you can always move it. Now, when I say it's just too bad, I mean, call Rabbi Simon and ask him what to do if you miss your timer because obviously you are not going to be in pain. But I'm just saying, if you use this, your life is just simple. If you miss the pump, you just go ahead and you just switch the tripper. So this is the best case scenario. Remember, these are the same timers that I'm using for my hot plate, for my AC, for anything that you're using. These are the same timers, but the links are all in the download so you know exactly which ones I'm using. Tried them, I've tested them, they work. Now, the second best case scenario, well, actually probably third at this point, is going to be called the SwitchBot, okay? What this is, and I'm gonna show you the video in a minute, you program this with the SwitchBot app before Shabbos on your phone. And what you're then going to do is place the SwitchBot on here, and when the time comes, a little lever comes down and it hits the button. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. But here's the thing with this. Number one, if you miss it, you miss it, so then you have to ask Rabbi Simon what you're going to do about it if you miss it. Number two, sometimes this can like pop off. Actually, it does. It has a little bit of 3M tape, but it always pops off. Also, you don't want to have this with you all the time. So what I find people will do is literally before Shabbos, you take some tape. Let me show you because I really want you to like see this. What you'll do is that you'll put the SwitchBot here and then you'll literally tape, hold on guys, tape it. You will literally tape it down. And then before every Shabbos, you will tape it down on here. This way you know it isn't going anywhere. Now, the thing is that this only turns on one button. So it's just going to turn on the power button. The Spectra auto shuts off after 30 minutes. So you'll just leave it be. One more thing to note with the SwitchBot, which is really annoying, is that the SwitchBot only has a place for 5 different alarms. And majority of you are going to need to pump more than 5 times in 24 hours. So really annoying, but a lot of you are going to have to get 2 SwitchBots and then program it. So what I ended up doing was writing 1 and then 2. This way I know that I start off Shabbos with the one that has the 1 on it on my pump, and that one gets me through the night. So that's like my Friday night pump, and then if you still have a middle of the night pump, that also gets me through following pumps. And then I have number 2 that I'll switch on midday, and that gets me through the rest of Shabbos. This is also what you would be doing if you're pumping over a holiday and needing multiple times. Reminder, it's 5 times, but it could be 5 times on multiple days. So if you have it scheduled for 3, 6, 9, and 12, it could be scheduled for those times on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's fine. It just can't go more than 5 times over 24 hours, which is really annoying because we obviously need Friday night going into the next day. So this is what you can do. You can order yourself 2 of them, then label them 1 or 2, and that's how you do it. Another question I get asked is, what if you want to be able to switch the modes? So my overall answer is you do not need to stress about this. If you are able to empty and get enough milk by just turning it on and leaving it, I would just do that and not make yourself crazy. It's simply not worth it. It's just 1 day a week. However, if you really, really need to go back and forth, you can get 2 switch spots. In this case, you might end up needing 4 total in order to have it like this, where you'll have one that opens up onto the power button and the second one that opens up onto the massage button. And what you'll do is that you'll have it turn on, the first one on the power button, and then you'll set the alarm of the top one that's on the mode button for 2 minutes later, so that 2 minutes later, it will go ahead and it will switch the mode for you. And you can do this as many times as you want. If you know that at 14 minutes into your session, you need to go back into the letdown mode, you can go ahead and make it do that. The only thing you need to remember is that with the Spectra, it will stay in that letdown mode unless you click the button again. So just kind of use the buttons accordingly. This also works with this Medela pump and style. So you can put it here and then same thing, you can tape it on and it will work. This one shuts off after 30 minutes of not touching any buttons. So you can just have it here, it will turn on and turn off after 30 minutes. And you can just leave it on here the whole time. As of right now, basically the only pumps that work with the SwitchBot are the Spectra and this Medela. Some of them can work, maybe the Motif Luna. This is the Medela Symphony I work with, but none of you are going to have this pump because it's $1,000. But any of the very popular pumps right now, the Pumpables Genie Advance, the Baby Buddha, they do not work with the SwitchBot as of now. Should this change or should a new pump come on, I will update this video and I will let you know. You are, of course, more than welcome to go ahead and try it and see if anything else works for you. And please, please get in touch with me to let me know so that I can update everyone else and let them know. I'm always trying them, but listen, if you guys find it before me, I would really love to know about it. Also, if the Shabbos pump does not work for you, so meaning you're using a specific pump for Shabbos and then a different pump for during the week because you like to use one of the smaller pumps for during the week and then you use this for Shabbos, but it really, really isn't working, don't just leave it that it isn't working. With my first kid, I was using the Pump It Style Advance, the yellow one that I showed here. It was the only one available with a timer, and it was really uncomfortable for me. I really wasn't emptying, and I could have left it. But instead, I talked to my rabbi, and he said, if you're really uncomfortable, then go ahead and use a Shinoi with the Spectra instead. And that's what I was able to do, because I didn't just leave it in pain. So if you're having trouble, if something isn't working, ask a question, push further. Do not just leave it there and be uncomfortable. That's not an option. Again, my better suggestion to you would be to get this because this way there's just never any issues. You can always move the pump as needed. And remember, guys, you can get multiple timers with multiple pumps. For me, I didn't like to have to be banned away to a room every time. So I used to have one pump attached to the timer in the den and then one pump attached to a timer by my bed so that I can pump wherever I wanted. That's what worked for me. That's what I wanted. Let's say you don't have any of the pumps that I just showed you. I would go to a local gemach. I would ask a local Facebook group. I would see a local WhatsApp group. Does anyone have one? Someone is going to have one of these pumps for you if you cannot afford it. Because as of now, only the pumps that I showed you will work on these options. I will update this video as needed, of course. But as of the time of this video, these are the only ones that work. So if you don't have any of these pumps, then you should get one and you should get the timer. Reminder that if you're a nursing or exclusive pumping mom, if you are pumping with a timer, there is no issue keeping your milk, according to Rabbi Simon. Number 2, if a baby has medical necessities such as NICU, allergies, anything of the sort, anything medical, there is no question. What has to happen is that you need to empty your milk to give it to the baby. Of course, still use on the timer if you can, but when it's, of course, much more lenient when a baby needs the milk, whatever needs to be done, needs to be done. Please call Rabbi Simon and ask him what you can do to pump on Shabbos. Rabbi Simon will repeat this information to you, but this way you have it in case on Friday you need to quickly understand what it is. You want to find the links. That's why I put it all here, but you cannot take this on without calling Rabbi Simon and confirming the information that you heard here. Remember that Shabbos is a day of rest, and I hope this information made it much more helpful for you. Have a good Shabbos!